This ZeroNow program is brought to you with the support of our founding partners.
All right, welcome folks, and this is our Summer Innovation Showcase. I'm Ara Bagdasarian, the co-founder of ZeroNow and co-founder of OmniAlert, and welcome to the Summer Innovation Showcase, where partners share the latest advancements in school safety technology. For those of you that are new to ZeroNow, we're a stakeholder alliance formed to drive ideas, innovation, and investment to advance school safety. As a member-based organization and nonprofit, ZeroNow facilitates collaboration between industry, association, and education partners to foster new solutions to keep campuses and schools safe and secure. Before we get started, I just want to recognize our sponsors and founding partners who made this program possible. Thank you to Axis Communications, Additional Corporation, OmniAlert, Axon, Status Solutions, IACLEA, VTV Family Outreach Foundation, NASPA, the Student Affairs Administrators in Higher Education, and Campus Safety Magazine and Conferences. If you're interested in learning more about becoming a member or partner, visit zeronow.org. And without further ado, we're going to jump right into our product demonstrations and get a glimpse into what's coming next in the future. And Steve Johnson, why don't you join us if you're here? So Steve is with Safe Haven Defense. So Steve, would you mind just giving us a quick little summary of your background and a little bit about Safe Haven Defense before we jump into the demonstration?
Yes. So I'm a 11-year City of Scottsdale police officer. 5 of my years on our SWAT team as a breacher, and then 3 of my years was in our vehicle collision reconstruction unit, reconstructing fatal car crashes. And during that time as a police officer, that's when I started Safe Haven Defense, about July of 2018.
Awesome. And Steve, would love to learn more about the product and how it's implemented and see a live demonstration if that's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. So right around Parkland, February of 18, my wife's a teacher. She's a 17-year teacher, so I really credit most of this to her. She had reached out and said, hey, was there any company that had contacted the police department or SWAT team specifically for a product that I could put on my classroom windows? I'm like, well, no, not really. Nothing that's really affordable or easy to install. So I kind of went down a Google deep dive and saw that there was a plethora of security films at that time that were using descriptors like ballistic or security film or school security, school safety. And so I wanted to test them. Well, when you reach out from a police department saying, hey, I'd like to test your products, everybody will send you your products. So I obtained 5 or 6 different industry leading films at the time that all were an 8mm security film. So I want to test it. They're saying ballistic. Well, what is it ballistic to? So this is just a normal piece of 1/4-inch glass that would be common, that's been common since the 50s to be installed in schools. And let's test it. Well, I shot it and it was ineffective. Didn't stop a bullet. Threw river rocks at it. And you'll see what it does with that. So I reached back out to the vendors, the dealers, and said, hey, what is this ballistic to? Like, well, it's ballistic in the sense that to the dictionary, it alters the direction and velocity of a projectile. I'm like, okay, so it's not bullet resistant. The key terminology is bullet resistant. They said, no, we can't actually stop bullets. We're not lab tested. It's not a bullet resistant product. The unfortunate part is that your layman refers to ballistic like a police officer's ballistic vest. That's what we call it. So I went to the drawing board, using my physics knowledge from VCRU and my ballistics knowledge from SWAT, and developed a plastic that had a tensile strength strong enough to be able to stop a bullet. But my big approach to school safety is not to try and sell you a product. We're risk mitigators. We're risk managers. We've got a little over 40 police officers in the company. I think 130 total people in the company, between installers, threat assessors, estimators. But we're here to go look at your school safety plan, and maybe you need cameras, maybe you need access control. It may not even be window film that you need at the time, but it's that's our approach. The other approach is to actually educate decision makers as to what different types of film do. So when you look at statistics, everything that we do as a company is statistic-based, common sense-based. Statistically, your active shooter, I believe it's a 21 to 25-year-old white male, average build. So I went all over the nation to find my guy Adam here, and who is my fabricator. He's our director of special projects. He builds whatever we need built. To Adam, we need you to demonstrate what 8mm security film will do. So Bo will take a couple steps back, another retired SWAT operator from Scottsdale PD, and just a normal river rock, like what you would find in front of your building for erosion of your foundation. And what that does to a 1/4 inch pane of glass with just normal 8mm security film. Go ahead, Adam. So that's a problem, right? You got a nice hole to where they can reach in and they can just open the door, right? Now, maybe he wants to take 10 more seconds and use his boot, and he can just give me a good tip. Now he's very easily able to access a school. This is the problem. We think about common sense of your active shooter response plan or your lockdown procedures. Your lockdown procedures probably say you need to lock down. Adam, please, could you get the lockdown procedures are going to say you need to close doors, lock down, turn off lights. Well, can you do that in 12 seconds? No, you really can't. So now, sorry, we have a shipment coming at the same time. Adam is going to take this window out and put in a riot window, same 1/4 inch pane of glass, and we'll show you why schools switch from an 8mm film to a riot. Of course, bullet resistance was top of mind for me, and not only bullet resistance in the sense of can it stop 1 bullet or 2 bullet, but it needs to follow the UL standard. It needs to follow the DOJ standard. So we've got 15, I believe 16 different testings now of single pane quarter, dual pane 1/4 inch glass, 3/8 inch glass, 1/2 inch glass. So no matter what type of glass you have in your building, we have a lab certification to say, yes, this film on this thickness of glass stops this bullet, and you have a higher authority, not just my word for it or one of my referrals. So now we've got a piece of 1/4 inch glass in the frame. Adam will use his same handy dandy burglar tool, and we'll be able to show you what the riot resistant product offers. Of course, not every window needs to be bullet resistant. I use common sense in that sense to where, okay, well, maybe you need 2 to 5 minutes of resistance. Maybe you need 5 to 8 minutes. So I developed 3 other products. We have a smash film, a forced entry film, and then our riot film and our bullet film. That way we can tailor it to what your needs actually are. So Adam's gonna take the same river rock. He's gonna grab some gloves because I've actually kind of tore a ligament in my wrist beating on one of my windows at a demo. So now the doctor said to wear gloves. So now, same river rock, 1/4 inch with riot. Adam, give it your college best. So when you hear, oh, Bo, yeah, let's go ahead and put Bo's beautiful face behind that window. So now, when you have your trusted loved ones, go ahead. Bo actually drank the last energy drink in the fridge the other day, so Adam's still a little upset. So where that's not working, when your dirtbag is chasing after his river rock, that's a good problem to have. This is giving you time. When seconds matter, police are still minutes away. Maybe he grabs a rifle. Baseball bats are a little bit safer to beat on windows than rifles. Get more force out of it as well. Go ahead. To where you can still see on the backside, you still have a safe space. You're keeping that person outside of the building until PD can arrive. We actually stopped 3 juveniles for 58 minutes in Mesa, Arizona, Mesa schools. It was 5.5 hours of total assault, but for 58 minutes, we kept them out of a robotics laboratory. So now, with let's show our bullet demo. Bo, come on over here. As you can see, we've got about $24 million of film in stock, ready to go. So the lead times are only 4 to 6 weeks. We've got a little over 55 installers. And we set up a test pane. Bo's will show. This is just normal dual pane 1/4 inch glass that I'll throw in here with our bullet film. I'll put our frame behind it. The UPS guy is going to get a real treat today. He gets to see a demo as well.
Awesome.
Well, we grab a 9mm. As you see right here, we got nice 9mm ball rounds. This is the same projectile that has to be used at the UL laboratory. A certification that we achieved about 2 months ago, being UL certified. We're the only window film to be UL certified for bullet resistance. Can you guys still hear me okay?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Loud and clear. Oh, good deal. I put on iron ear protection. I take about 10 feet away from this window. Bo's getting his ears on. Where we can walk around now to the back side of this window. We have entries from the inside. The Bo will go around now to the back sides. Hey, set that earphone on the ground because you're mic'd in. But we have nice stops out of just normal dual pane 1/4-inch glass. You can see another one.
Oh, yeah.
Want to pull it out? Nice stop. But this is why people are going with Safe Haven all around the nation. We've opened offices now in 38 states. You can pan up on me now, sir. We've opened offices now in about 38 states. We've got people that were in charge of weapons mass destruction with different master's degrees in purchasing. Our actual staffing has grown to something much larger than we ever thought it was going to be. And then to the point to where 2 weeks ago, we brought in private equity to help us institutionalize even further and continue growing this organization nationwide, and then of course worldwide, as we now have a pretty large government contract. But that's really different products we have. I wanted to shoot, beat on stuff, wail on stuff, show you what the competitor films have to offer. I think we're right at about 10 minutes, so we got a couple minutes worth of questions.
We do. Thanks, Steve. No, very impressive. So how do you determine which type of film? You mentioned there are like 3 different grades of film that you offer. How do you determine what is most relevant for a school, for example?
We take into account, are the doors locked? Do you have SROs on site? Are you a city agency and you've got a city officer within 3 minutes away? Are you more rural and you're relying on sheriff's office to respond? And that may be 20 or 30 minutes response time. So it's like I said from the beginning, it's a common sense approach. It's realism. It's taking in statistics, calling the crime analyst at that police department saying, hey, what's your average police response time for this call? What's your average response time to this type of call? So we can use that data to make sure that, hey, if we don't have to put in bullet film, if we can, because bullet film is expensive. Now, granted, we are 1/4 of the price of traditional bullet resistant glass. That's why school districts have been able to acquire us, because our average school right now is about $18,000 per school. Of course, that varies depending on architecture, but based on the 3,800 buildings we did last year, our average price is $18,000. But if we can make it more affordable, let's make it more affordable. And let's do the product that is truly needed, so that the other part of the budget can be spent on cameras, access control, and or weapons detection and so forth.
And so when you determine, you mentioned that you do risk analysis and trying to understand vulnerabilities of a particular school. When would you determine that this window film is a priority when it comes to implementing security technologies over other types of technologies like you just mentioned?
Well, you look at, I mean, just as simple as walking into a bank or a grocery store. Those doors are open, they're unlocked. You walk up to it, a sensor opens the door. It does not make sense to put window film on those doors. Now, if you're trying to make a safe vestibule or a vestibule that can be locked down with a panic button, then maybe it makes more sense to spend money on access control and electric or maglock doors if fire code allows, rather than putting in window film. Those are the type of things to where if the door's not even locked, then we don't need to be putting film on that door. It's really, if we're going to harden the space, it needs to be able to be locked and secured in a timely manner. A, for police to respond, and B, for you to be able to barricade in your designated barricaded space.
So speaking of barricading in doors, are there other applications for the film to be utilized in indoor spaces versus exterior doors?
So if you saw behind the window, Bo will spin the camera around. We also have our own Kevlar made to where this is what we're installing in either hollow metal doors or on drywall, solid wood doors, to where it's only 1 pound a square foot. That way you don't have a 700-pound door, but we can still make it bullet resistant all the way to level 3. So, which is well over 90% of the projectiles that are used in active shooters determined by the FBI. So statistically, pistols are your biggest threat. Now, I understand that there are some communities that have a higher threat potential involving rifles. So that's why I went ahead and got UL7 tested, UL5 tested for the AR-15 and also the 308.
Thanks, Steve. Jose Figueroa. Hey, Jose asks, so, and I think you just mentioned this, but is this considered level 1 through 3, or what level is this considered as film?
We have level 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7. It all depends on the type of glass that you have. And that's why we send out a police officer or an estimator threat assessor to come out to actually look at the glass you have. We've got to get a glass gauge thickness tool to where we can put it on the window and get a determination of what you have. And then that tells you what levels of protection are available based on the glass you have.
And is pricing based on the level of protection?
No, it's pricing. It's for the bullet resistance. It's the same film. It just depends on what type of glass you have. So it's a one price for all levels. It all depends on what type of glass you have. If you want a higher level, then we can supply you with the glass. We are licensed glazers, and it just whatever the cost of the glass would be. So if you want AR-15 and 308, typically half-inch glass is $5 a square foot, so it would be $5 a square foot extra. But for us, bullet resistant is $205 a square foot. Traditional bullet resistant glass companies for pistol is $800. For rifles is upwards of $1,200 a square foot. So we are drastically more affordable than traditional bullet resistant glass.
Awesome. Steve, I know you need to get running, and we appreciate you giving us a demonstration, give us an overview of the Safe Haven Defense film solution. Any final thoughts before we let you loose?
No, thank you so much for the opportunity to share this. Like I said, I'm still a current officer. I'm going into, I only do reserve now. Whenever they need me, they give me a shot. I'm working a patrol shift tonight. So I appreciate the time. If you guys have questions, they said there's about 40 of us that spread around the country that can assist expeditiously. But thanks again.
Awesome. Thanks, Steve. And this video will be posted in the ZeroNow community so people could ask questions in there as well for you. So that's fantastic. All right. Our next presenter is Amy Jeffs from Status Solutions. Amy, are you there? There we go. Hey, Amy.
I am. Hi there.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good, good, good. I'm going to turn over to you and turn off my video. And if you wouldn't mind just introducing yourself, and we look forward to learning more about Status Solutions as part of this overall multi-layered approach.
Yes, thank you so much. I am Amy Jeffs, president at Status Solutions, and happy to be in partnership, first of all, with a group of like-minded individuals, like-minded organizations who are working together to solve one of the biggest challenges, obviously, that our society face. And so we bring some expertise from a veteran perspective in the industry. We also have a new program that I want to share today that I think will be beneficial to anyone who is looking to be able to provide from a school safety perspective additional funding, as that is also one of the challenges. as we look at all of the different ways that we can improve school safety. Getting it paid for is also a challenge, and so want to talk about that as well. A little bit of background and history on Status Solutions. We are very much a mission-based organization. Our goal is to defeat ignorance-based loss. We are a situational awareness organization and company with the vision that we want to be able to implement our awareness technology and solutions on every network in order to be able to help people. We have been fortunate enough to be able to help improve and save lives since 2001. So again, a veteran in the space and very dedicated to helping the most vulnerable in every community. And that starts with the children in our classrooms. And so we take that very seriously. That is our mission, to defeat any loss that can be prevented. And the number one is loss of life. Obviously, loss of property, business, and convenience is also something that we can help with, but loss of life is most important. And being able to provide intelligent information, to be able to provide the tools that people need when they need it is our goal and what we do. So we truly believe that as a situational awareness company, that if you can read, hear, see, then you can do something about it, whatever that situation is. So having the tools to be able to react in any type of situation, whether it is an emergency or a non-emergency, having that information at your fingertips, being able to read it, being able to see it, being able to hear it, gives you the tools and the capacity to do something about it. And then obviously you want to be able to analyze that after the fact so that you can improve upon it in that next situation. So we hear a lot about AI and predictive analytics, but truly being able to take the information that you've gained through any type of situation or incident, and then being able to analyze that so that you can either prevent it from happening again or improve the circumstances that surrounded that event. But again, having that information is what's most important. So when you look at kind of the core of Status Solutions, we really say it is really all explained in our logo. And if you look at Status Solutions, there's 4 S's. Systems and sensors are what we connect to, and we also output through speakers and screens. So at Status Solutions, we say we only do 3 things. We do monitoring, alerting, and reporting. And depending on what you want to monitor, what you want to alert to, and then obviously what you want to report on is different. It's different for every school, it's different for every municipality, it's different for every campus and every building. But what's not different is the need to have that information to connect to what's already in a building, to be able to send that information in a timely manner to the people that need it, whether those are first responders in your buildings that need that information, whether that is law enforcement, whether that is medical, regardless of where that information gets to. The core of what we do is act as a middleware to be able to pull everything together, tie it all together, so that that information gets to the right people at the right time. So we talk about our all screen strategy, and that obviously we live in a world of screens. You probably all have multiple ones around you right now. And whether those are handheld devices, tablets, digital signage, workstations, watches, whatever that is, we live in a world of screens. So being able to utilize those really from a dual purpose perspective is what I want to spend a little bit more time talking about today. And that's that obviously we want to be able to harness that those tools to be able to provide information. So in the event of an emergency or information that needs to be delivered, that information from an alerting perspective can be sent via any of those devices. But the other thing that's what is available within any type of screen is your ability to get information, right? An opt-in kind of thought process. So like I said before, Status Solutions is a 23-year-old company providing situational awareness. And one of the challenges that we saw and see in helping schools is the funding challenge, is being able to not only make the initial investment, but that any ongoing investments that are necessary to support, whether it's safety, whether it is improvements within the facilities, whatever ongoing costs are necessary to improve the outcomes for their students, for their teachers, for their administrators. And we all know that that funding challenge is very real. And so our founder and CEO, Mike McLeod, said, okay, we're going to work on how we fix that. We've provided from a technology perspective, something that could very much help, but we want to also help just a little bit more in helping to build a model by which you can fund those investments that you need to be able to make your schools both safer and sounder. And so Status Solutions Network was born obviously out of Status Solutions with a similar mission in mind to empower communities to create a network between their local schools, businesses, and organizations to be able to provide really what we call a ecosystem of mutual benefit. And you can't ask somebody to do something that you're not willing to do yourself, right? So when we launch Status Solutions Network, we are launching it as a joint venture. So the joint venture is between Status Solutions, again, who is making an investment in any school district in the country that wants to be able to utilize the situational awareness technology, that core platform that I was referring to before. So Status Solutions is saying, use it. We are granting you the use to be able to use it to make your campus both safer and sounder for your students and your teachers. We're asking the school district, take it, accept it as a grant of use. And then along with that, we are giving you a business model with the Status Solutions Network to identify someone in the community who will be responsible for not only owning a business, but also promoting that the other businesses get involved and help give back to the community. So think about it as a booster club. It's the best of the booster club, the Better Business Bureau, and the Chamber of Commerce, all coming together to say, we're like-minded in our communities. We have businesses that want to participate and be a part of this, that's going to give back to our schools, not only promoting safety and security for our teachers and our students, giving them a tool that they can use to call for help in the event of any type of incident or situation that happens, and then reaching out to that local community, those local businesses that want to participate, kind of back to that idea of community and bringing, let's get back to local, bringing folks together to be able to say, all right, I want to help. All of us in this community have said, I want to help. So what we're doing is taking that at the local level and approaching local businesses to be able to purchase a membership. A portion of that goes back to the school and gives them the ability to use it however they would like it. But it also gives the local business the opportunity to promote themselves. Because back to those screens, having the ability to have an opt-in interactive directory that says, these are the folks in our community who are supporting safer schools, and giving them obviously the ability to promote themselves as a local provider of services or solutions or products or whatever it is that they do. But it also gives them the ability to give back to the community as well. So our schools get what they need. They're safer, they're sounder, they're connected to this larger community as well. And then they also have a mechanism by which they can leverage their local community to not only create this ecosystem, but ultimately be able to fund whatever it is that they need on a continuous and ongoing basis. And so being able to bring that full circle back to what we do is situational awareness. So here are the folks in your local community. You're aware now of the folks in your community who are helping. And so ultimately that is what we have created is taking kind of the premise of bad things do happen to good people. That was the whole purpose of Status Solutions being founded and built. But then extending that to meet one of the current challenges within our schools, which is not only being able to adopt solutions to improve the day-to-day lives of their students and their teachers, but also to be able to fund them.
No, that's awesome, Amy. And we just a few weeks ago we were talking about funding school safety and the different approaches to fund school safety, because most people look at federal grants as a primary source or state grants, but looking at your community is another very valuable source. And we always say that school safety is a community responsibility. Everyone has a stake in this. It's not just one person or just a school. It takes everybody. So Amy, would you mind just sharing like a success story with the network Status Solutions network approach with local sponsors?
Sure, absolutely. So I'll give you kind of I'm in our Ohio office today, so I'll give you kind of a local example here. So we have a local school, St. Paul's, and they are connected to a local business owner here in Westerville, and his responsibility is to go out and sell memberships that then obviously offset any costs. Again, anything that we don't direct the funding in any way, so they can use it as they see fit. But looking at to kind of give you some examples of the members who are a part of that, real estate agents, local restaurants, local insurance agents. Everybody has sat at a football game, at a basketball game, or a baseball game and seen the banners. Everybody on the banners, right? It's the local or the orthodontist, it's the regional State Farm agent, it's the folks who are already really connected and want to give back to the community, but also obviously want exposure, right, for their businesses as well. And so kind of this idea here locally of bringing the community together to be able to support St. Paul's and what they're doing to help their kids. And then obviously Status Solutions as a platform is in the schools.
So let's talk about the platform a little bit, Amy. So what
Absolutely.
A lot of the folks that are going to be watching this may not be familiar with the concept of situational awareness. Why don't you describe what that actually means?
Sure. So situational awareness came out of the military term, right? And having the essay that you need to make the decisions when you need it in the moment that you need to make them. So the whole idea of it is, regardless of what that situation is there a fire? Is there a tornado? Is there inclement weather coming? Is there a door that has been left ajar? Is it after hours and someone is entering the building? Whatever that is are we low on certain inventory item? Whatever that is, being able to detect that the situation is occurring through connection with any type of system or any type of sensor, then being able to provide awareness about that. So that's where the alerting concept comes in, of being able to alert to, whatever means you need to be able to, whether that's, you need overhead PA, you need digital signage, you need to be able to get that to a mobile device, a workstation, whatever that endpoint is that allows you to be able to read, see, or hear what's going on so that you can ultimately do something about it. But the true power of situational awareness, I believe, is really around redundancy, because there's not a one way to fix any issue, right? There's not one way to communicate with folks. And so the more that you can layer on, make sure that you get that information to the individuals that need it, that's really the true power of situational awareness.
And so, Amy, is a set of solutions offering, is it an on-prem based solution, or is this all cloud-based, or both?
Either or. So depending on the needs of the school, we offer either one. Some folks, want an on-premise solution. Some do not, in terms of their IT infrastructure and ability to maintain and manage. But we are happy to provide either solution. It's really just based on that specific need.
And we have time for one more question. So what is the typical, because obviously the platform is very robust. What is the typical entry level deployment look like? Where does a school typically start when launching a status solutions platform?
Right. So typically, depending on what systems they want to be able to connect to, typically we'll look at student information systems and do, an integration there. So being able to determine, who the students are, where they are, depending on attendance and things along those lines. But ultimately, we would provide a dashboard of information so that the teacher would be able to get help from any type of situation. So typically that's, assistance in the classroom for behavioral, allergy, medical issue, custodial reach out, as well as obviously if there were an active situation with intruders, that they would be able to, again, push a button on their phone, hit a key on their keyboard, use the dashboard buttons themselves to be able to call for help. But the typical kind of entry point to your point, Ara, is really, how do I get assistance in the classroom when I need it? That's where we usually start.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Amy. Really appreciate you sharing more about status solutions and the funding model too. I think that is just as critical. I mean, you need to fund this stuff in order to.
I'll leave you with this, Ara, because I know Danielle did the funding webinar earlier. We believe in the power of and. So it is not an either or situation, a grant versus, the status solution network model. We believe in and. So as much as is available to this community, we encourage everybody to take advantage of as much as possible.
Very wise words, and appreciate that, Amy. That's very well aligned with our whole purpose. So thank you very much. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
All right. And our third guest today is, let's see here. Is Andy, are you there? Andy Rawlinson with Axon actually is with us today with Fusus from Axon. How's it going?
You doing?
Good. Thanks for hanging in there. I'm going to turn it over to you. If you wouldn't mind just quickly introducing yourself, quick background, and jump right into it, because we'd love to learn more about Fusus, and I will turn off my video.
Absolutely. So I'm Andy Rawlinson. I'm with Fusus by Axon. I'm a 20-plus year retired law enforcement officer that is now working for Axon and promoting our Fusus product. So real happy, proud to be part of Axon and a sponsor of the ZeroNow Innovation Showcase. And with that, I'm going to jump straight into it to let people kind of know what Fusus is. So when we look at schools and school safety in particular, we're looking at our SOC 2 or our Security Operations Center in the cloud. Basically what that is a unified security monitoring and communications hub for private security personnel, guard services, and various other agencies involved in daily security operations in schools. So it provides a uniform live security feeds with data layers like automated license plate readers, access control systems, security personnel, geolocators, floor plans, lots of different integrations to basically increase security and provide situational awareness. With that, as we joined this, I mean, it was kind of unique when I was looking into the ZeroNow and what you stand for, and it really aligns with Axon's mission statement of protect life. So I'm going to jump into a PowerPoint. Hopefully that populated for everybody. So that's just a little bit of background on me. I'm a retired law enforcement officer. I'm part of Indiana Task Force 1, which is a FEMA urban search and rescue team. I've had deployments to Maui wildfires, the building collapse in Miami, a couple hurricanes, NA grad. So a lot of experience of dealing with security operations centers. So when we get into Fusus, it is the most widely used and trusted real-time crime center platform in the US. It's now an international company. We're in the UK and Canada. But who are we? We're in 290 agencies and counting. We can integrate over 100 different law enforcement technologies, and we're compatible with over 1,000 different camera manufacturers, what we call camera agnostic. We're an end-to-end service provider, setup, training, and support that is all local. You need something, you call, it rings down to Peachtree's Corner, Georgia. We are there to assist you. It's built by law enforcement for law enforcement to keep our kids safe in schools. It's a completely open platform, and we have you up and running in around 90 days with the support of your IT department. On this screen, there's a lot going on. I kind of want to talk through it to give you an idea of what this platform and the power that it does. If you look here on the top left, the location-based assets, that's a lot of stuff we have in the community that police departments currently have, right? From drones to body cams to VLS services and in-car and fixed ALPR cameras. But when we look on the right side, it's all the stuff we have in the community, and we're focused on schools today that we know are there, but currently law enforcement really doesn't have access to any of it until after the fact, right? We're responding after something happens, we have a victim of some sort, and then we're doing it. So what Fusus does is, can we provide, and through integrations and collaboration with other technologies, can we get real-time awareness to the people that need it instantly? When we look at this command and control, that's kind of the people that's going to be responding. So we've got our Fusus Notify that you can blast stuff out. The officers come and can listen to the 911 calls. We have our AI real-time detecting and alerting. So can we look for a certain vehicle? Can we look for a certain person through objects? They're wearing a ball cap and a red shirt. Through our AI technology and the cameras connected to the system, it will start looking for that person for you. Cross-organizational chat, so your administrators in the school and teachers, they have their own chat program that they can share information back and forth, including videos and text. Our Fusus Live link there is kind of, if somebody sees an issue or a problem, they can actually live stream that video straight to the system, so the people that need to see it get a real-time awareness of what they're going into, whether that be administrators in the school or school resource officers getting a live look on their tablets, on their computers, or even their cell phone. We can ingest floor plans and allow telestration so that we can draw on the maps to provide incident action plans when there is a response. And the one that we're really proud of for the schools here is this big red button that you see. That is our SOS panic alert. So what that allows is any teacher, administrator, or someone in the school, if there's an emergency, all they have to do is use their iOS or Android device, and they can send a panic alert wirelessly. And what that's going to do is, they hold that down for 5 seconds. It's going to geolocate exactly where they are and send that alert to the system so people know that help is needed. It cuts out all the time of calling 911, telling what your problem is. It's an instant alert that we know there's problems. The other thing that we have is it's going to do what we call directed dispatch payload, that the cameras in that area that are integrated in the system are automatically going to populate up. So those responding have real-time awareness and a look of what is actually going on, so that they can have the appropriate measured response when they get there. So it's a real powerful system to bring real-time awareness of everything that's going on. I'm going to skip out of this because I really want to show the demo of the system. But what is Fusus offering educational institutions? So we are a unified video security system. What we do is we can integrate any VMS system. It doesn't matter what system it is. If there's different systems from different schools, as we know, sometimes different schools during the bid process, they're on different VMS systems. It doesn't matter. We can bring all of them in what we call one pane of glass to give an actual look of what's going on. So in the Security Operations Center, they would be able to monitor multiple schools all at the same time. We provide them the secure chat channels between administrator, educator, school resource officers so they can share information pre-event, during event, or even post-event. We can provide a 10-digit phone number that anonymous tips from students and staff from their mobile phones can be sent in. Unified school security across the city via map-based interface, unified health and safety dashboards, and data visualization for the entire school system. So you can see real quick what's going on, the health of the system, doors unlocked, cameras are up, and all that stuff. We can bring in the automatic license plate reader. And what that does is it will alert you if there's unauthorized vehicle alerts in the area. That silent panic alarm system is that red button we just kind of talked about to allow when you need to be quiet and there's an incident going to get help going there. And then through our AI-driven alerting and integrations with access control and gunfire detections, it's getting the help we want. And all this information is shared with the people that need it. Emergency personnel, 911 dispatchers, all are getting a live look. To kind of talk about it briefly, if you look all the way back from Columbine all the way to the Stoneman Douglas tragedies, after the fact, we always have a tremendous amount of information, tremendous amount of videos. It's all great to learn from after the fact, but what would the power be if the officers first responding has all that information to make their decisions and come up with a tactical action plan to keep our kids safe? So that's kind of a very, very quick overview. I'm going to jump into our live demo system to kind of talk through how some of this works, how it integrates together, and how fast we can provide real-time awareness to the people that need it. Jump out of here. One second, just got to share this screen, and then that should have populated up, and it gives you kind of a look like a Google map. It pops up right there, and what we're looking at is a donor site of a school in the United States that has given us permission to demo and show the system to you. So real quickly, I'm going to zoom out. You can see they've kind of divided it up into their areas for patrol. Now, with the integrations, if they have the AVLS, the automatic vehicle location services, or body cams, and we're in a live system for them, I would be able to see the vehicles and the officers' body cams moving around this map. Quickly, if I zoom in, you can see how we can overlay floor plans. So real quickly, we have a very detailed architectural floor plan, but it could be something as basic as a drawing if that's all you had. And the power of that, if you have an emergency, we get real-time awareness. You can see the cameras that are embedded on this map. Green means the health is good. Red means something's wrong and the IT department knows they need to look at it, right? But real quickly, I'm going to show you our directed dispatch, and I'm just going to populate, like, let's imagine a run was just coming out here. We're going to call it test fight. Nope, and it logged me out because I've been sitting waiting. Let me log back in real quick. But it brings real-time awareness that officers get the information that they actually need instantly. Let's populate back up. We're back there where it's at. Real quickly, I'm going to populate like a dispatch run came out in this area. And what you'll see is the cameras. There's no thinking. There's no remembering what camera am I looking for. The system knows by geolocation what to bring up to let the officers know exactly what they need. And right there, you can see within seconds, the VMS system is populating, and we're getting a live look at this school district right now. Imagine the power of responding and knowing what's going on. You get the appropriate measured response. You know where a suspect could be. You know, if something's not there and we're moving around, we can pop down here and do a very quick playback of the last 10 minutes to see what happened before we got there. If there was a person, we can real quick share this, right? And what we would do there is we just real quick capture this image, and no more just broadcasting, hey, I'm looking for, a person that was in this hallway wearing a red shirt. We can actually send a photo out to them as quick as you can send a text message on your cell phone. So all officers have a visual picture of exactly what they're looking for. That's real quick power of how this system can work to provide real-time awareness to keep everyone safe. I'm going to zoom out a little bit just to kind of see that, but that is my very quick overview. There are so many integrations in this system. I could spend 2 weeks talking to you about it, but the power of this system is the video feeds coming in that we don't care what VMS system you're on. We can integrate quickly with all of them. Your tips and alerts would come in if something. So if somebody held down that red button, it would alert on this map and bring those cameras up instantly to let everyone know there was a true emergency. So it stops those false positive responses, an over powerful response at times, and allows an appropriate community response. Because with this system, what we've learned is connected communities are safe communities. So we integrate with anyone that will allow us to integrate with them. So that is my super fast overview of Fusus by Axon and kind of what we're doing, but we can bring in anything from any of the integrations that the schools are currently using, partnering with a local PD so that we can share that information. And one thing that I'll highlight is everything is permission based. One of the things we get is, well, we don't want the PD watching the kids all day. Well, they don't have to give them access until there's emergency. Like they could say you can see the outside parking lots and you can view it when you need to, but it's permission based. So if a run came out, then it would unlock for the officers responding on that run. And then as soon as they marked in service from that, it would turn it back off. So it's really permission based for real-time awareness for the measured response that is needed.
No, that's awesome. Thank you, Andy. First question is, so is this an on-premise based solution or is this cloud-based?
This is all cloud-based. So everything runs through the cloud. The only thing that is put on premise is we have what's called our core devices. And that's what would tap into your VMS system to share that feed through the cloud that we could integrate everything on one pane of glass. So if you had multiple sites with different VMSs, you could put them all on the same screen.
And who is typically at a school district? Who is the typical end user? Is it a school safety director, superintendent? So who is there an interface that the school is using directly, or is it typically used by law enforcement?
It's a combination of both, right? So the law enforcement has their own system usually that they can have the power and use the telestration to draw on a map. Heaven forbid that there was an emergency out of school and they had to plan, but they would be able to real quickly on the map start drawing their incident action plan for their officers in the measured response. On the other hand of it, that the administrators at the school resource officers, it's all permission based on what access people get. And they would be able to view the cameras, get the alerts based on when they want. And the other thing is with the power of our AI and what we call behavioral AI, it allows the resource officers or other people to focus their time and energy where it's needed most. So what I mean by that is the behavioral AI could be set up to monitor areas so a person doesn't have to. And then if somebody came into that area, the camera would come up and you now know that you need a response to it. That could be, overnight in the stadium. That could be hallways at night. It could be parking areas that you set up that if certain actions happen on the behavioral AI, it will now alert you so that you don't have to use the resource of a person to do that. The camera and the technology is going to do it for you.
And obviously, one of the philosophies, if you will, of ZeroNow is interoperability with different technologies. Because if there's a threat detected, how quickly can you automate response to get people out of harm's way quickly and ultimately achieve zero harm? So the question is, so what would a scenario be? Let's say there's a weapon detected. What would that workflow look like? From detection to alerting law enforcement. You mentioned, if there's law enforcement, SROs are provided with some sort of notification and some sort of image live stream of video. What typical use case look like?
So if it's set up that way, as soon as it detects that, it does what we call a toast or an alert, essentially, and it pops up. It's going to alert the system. So everyone that has access to that system, whether it's going to the SOC at a school, whether it's going directly to the school resource officer via a computer or their mobile phone, it's going to alert them there's a problem. They're going to click on an icon and it's going to load the cameras in that area to show them that the alert went off and then show them the live cameras of what's going on. So that's the real-time awareness. There's no, anyone that's done this job in law enforcement knows that sometimes the comments in a dispatch aren't always accurate. You can't hear the background noise of what's truly transpiring. And with the Fusus Listen, you get that. And you get the actual live look of what you're going into so that your mind as an officer would know what response to bring to that situation. So to answer your question, it's all automated. It would alert you and the cameras would come up on our directed dispatch payload to give you that live look so that you can focus on what you need to focus on.
And we have time just for one more question here. So as far as the end user, what does the interface look like? You showed us the web interface, but is there an app-based interface or is it mobile web-based? What does that look like from someone on the ground?
So what I showed you is what it would look like if you were operating it from a tablet or from a computer. There is also an app, and there's two separate apps. So we have one app that would basically allow the same type of usability that I showed you a moment ago on your phone. And then there's that separate app, and then it's that Fusus Alert. And all that app is for that emergency response. And it's just an app with a big red button. And then you hold it down for 5 seconds and it alerts you. But yes, it's good for iOS or Android devices to connect all the information where people need it most.
And I said we had there's one question from the audience, Jose Figueroa. So who is monitoring this for incidents before a tragedy happens? Can it detect a brandished weapon? Activities that are not supposed to be happening during school. So you mentioned some analytics, you mentioned gunshot. Are there video analytics that are being employed in the system now to look for potential threats?
What our technology does is take all the integrations, right? So if you have the integration of another company that does a weapon detection, it would embed in our system for the automation. And when you ask who's monitoring it, that's kind of how it's set up in each school or each community. Right? We've seen some places where they have a security operations center and there's an analyst monitoring it or an officer monitoring it. And we've seen some where, they don't have the staffing and the ability to do that. So it's automated and that school resource officer is the one monitoring it and they would get the alert to their phone or to their computer to instantly get it. So you don't actually have to always have somebody monitor it. It's automated to give you that alert when you have it programmed to come to you. And like I said, everything's permission-based and customizable to send it where it needs to be and make sure that we don't send it where maybe somebody doesn't necessarily need that access.
Awesome. Thank you, Andy. Appreciate it. And thanks, Amy, as well as Steve. We're out of time here. Just want to remind our participants, our next program is Prevent Harm. It's part of the Path to Safer Schools on Tuesday, June 18th at 2 p.m. You can register in the ZeroNow community. We're going to be talking about things that we could do to prevent an event from happening in the first place. So be sure to register for that. We've got some great panelists for that one as well. So thanks to our guests today, and we'll see you all soon. Be safe and take care. Thank you.